What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Y'all already know who it is. Y'all know it's your girl Ash, baby, bringing y'all another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. I don't know what is going on with this stream. I don't know why it just keeps. I don't know why it keeps doing this, but anyway, but your girl is back again. This is just gonna be a short episode. We're not doing anything long, anything big tonight. Just wanted to bring y'all the update in the murder trial of Tyre Nichols. Of course, for those that may not remember, he was the young man that was brutally beaten by the 5 Black police officers in Memphis, Tennessee. So just wanted to bring y'all the updates, just kind of let y'all know what's going on with the case. But y'all already know how I do before I even get started doing my shows. Y'all already know I have to do my mental health check-in, so I need to make sure everyone is good. So oh, goodness, today is Wednesday. It is hump day, y'all. We are 2 days away from Friday. We are almost there, y'all. So just hold tight. Just hold tight. I promise we gonna make it. I promise we gonna get there. So y'all already know I always play something that's encouraging, something that's a little empowering, just something that kind of help get you on your way throughout the rest of the week. So before we even jump into tonight's conversation, here we go.
What do you do when it seems like suffering won't stop? What do you do when it feels like your pain doesn't have a point? What does it do when it feels like your weaknesses continue to worsen?
Maybe you've taken a knockdown concerning your finances lately. Maybe it's with your kids, maybe with your marriage, maybe with your health, maybe some other arena of life. You're laying on the mat, gasping, and you don't know what you're going to do.
People ask you how you are, and you say fine, but you're not fine, and they'll never know that.
We're people. We're people, and we struggle, and we suffer, and we bleed, and we cry. And if you think that true strength means never showing any weakness, then I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. You're wrong because it's the opposite.
You're gonna get depressed sometimes. You're gonna have weeks where you don't feel like eating, where gravity is working overtime like it's afraid of getting laid off and you can barely lift your fork to your mouth, and you are going to have a choice.
You have a choice to either give up or keep going. Give up or get up.
It's like you have to save your own life. Nobody's going to be able to save it for you. So we have to do what we have to do, no matter what it is.
We all struggle. We all know what it is to hurt. We all know what it is to have pain in our heart. And you know what? It's okay. That's just a part of life. And as much as I hate some of the parts of my life depression has dragged me down to, in a lot of ways I'm grateful for it. Because yeah, it's put me in the valleys, but only to show me there's peaks. And yeah, it's dragged me through the dark, but only to remind me there is light.
Life is not always good. Life is not always rosy. But life is worth living. When you fail, try again. And again. And again.
Hold on to that fundamental quality of faith. Have faith that on the other side of your pain is something good.
I believe that this is your beginning, but this doesn't have to be your end. That just because you are currently here, this is your present circumstances, that life don't have to end for you right now. This might be a page in your life. It might even be a chapter in your life, but it ain't the book, baby. You are not finished writing yet, so I need you to get busy living. Are you hearing me? I need you to get busy living. There is still time. As long as there's breath in your nostrils, as long as you can wake up in the morning, you still in the game, which means if you're in the game and there's still time in the game, still time left in the game, you can still win the game.
The last chapter of your story has not been written yet. The fact that you're here today is a testament to the fact that the devil hasn't been able to destroy you.
You're in the darkest place in your life right now. You're at the darkest place in your life right now. Hold on. Don't give up. Don't quit. You're at the darkest point of your life, but if you could just look at your situation from a different angle and realize that beauty does come from death.
Are you in a storm or are you just in between two miracles?
You take those terrible events in your life and you create a new story of triumph. We gotta become something new. We take those traumas, we take that pain, and we allow it to become a part of who we want to be. What if I told you that there's greatness on the other side of your darkness, that there is joy on the other side of your pain?
What if I told you you got everything you need to make it through your storm? This storm will not take you out.
And I know you've been tired, and I know it's been hurting, and I know it's been lifelong, and it might be an addiction. It may be wondering how much longer you're going to have a job, or when you're going to get one, or when this is all going to be over. But you're not going to die in this trial. You're going to make it. In fact, you're going to be better.
I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to tell yourself, I am a survivor. Listen to me and you can get through this. I want you to speak life into that thing, whatever it is. What's frustrating you, like for real, you feel like I can't go through another day like this. I can't handle it. I can't take it. Listen to me very closely. Say it with me and breathe life into whatever that thing is. Whatever your circumstances are, say with me, I can. I can. I can get through this. I will. I will get through this. I must.
Let me say this. I always have to encourage somebody. So I always try to find some of the best videos that I listen to daily that help get me through the day. But I think this one here just really kind of hit me the hardest because I know what it's like to want to give up. I just had a conversation with my sister today and I was telling her, I said, my goal for this podcast is to be big and be bigger than where I am. And regardless of how many people show up, I'm going to continue to show up for me. So I challenge everybody, dig deep because everyone is born with a gift. Everyone has a gift. Everyone's born with a gift. But I really need you to dig deep and I really need you to figure out what is your goal and what is your purpose in life. I was just telling one of my coworkers today, I said, I'm blessed to be employed, but this cannot be my all be all. I don't want to work in corporate America anymore. I really want my podcast to be my way of life. So, regardless of how big and how small my accomplishments are, I'm still going to celebrate regardless because the small accomplishments help guide me and get me to the bigger ones. So, I encourage anybody, like I said, find out what it is, dig deep, take time for yourself. I'm blessed to be given a platform and to be able to utilize my gift to pour into people, to love on other people like they should be loved. To be able to be very transparent with my journey and the things that I've been through in life. I'm blessed that God has kept me thus far. I'm not gonna lie. I've had weapons that have formed against me, but a lot of them haven't prospered. I've lost. I've bounced back. I've lost again. I've bounced back. But just know it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So I always try to encourage you. I always try to push people. I always try to share my story because I know what it's like. And I want you to know that no matter where you are, no matter where you are in your storm, you got this. Don't ever give up. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't ever give up. So I think that video that I played tonight was just really on point. It was on key. It was on topic. And I hope that each and every episode that I bring to y'all every week, I hope that's helping you in some kind of way. I hope that's encouraging you. I hope that's empowering you. I hope that's uplifting you. Um, because we need it. With everything that's going on in the world right now, we need it. We need as much love and encouragement as we can get possibly. So I'm gonna keep doing what I do. Um, I'm not gonna let anything detour me because I'm here to tell y'all 2024 is about to get it's major for me. We about to blow up, y'all. 2024, we claiming it. Whatever happened in 2023, we leaving it in 2023 because I'm here to tell you, 2024, baby, the bounce back is gonna be real. No matter how much we lost in 2023, we about to get it tenfold in 2024. So I just want to encourage somebody. I just want to love on somebody. I just want to pour into somebody. And y'all know I do that before each and every episode. It's imperative that I do a mental health check-in. Even if I do it at the end, I need to make sure y'all are good mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Whatever it is that y'all need me to do, if y'all need me to pray for you, if you need to talk, if we need to laugh, if we need to cry, that's what I'm here for. That's the gift that God blessed me with. So I love y'all. Again, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It is hump day, baby. We are 2 days away from the weekend. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. I promise I'm so happy. But I want to jump into tonight's topic. Like I said, it's not gonna be long. Hey, sister. There go my sister. Hold up, wait. I think I got it right now. There we go. There we go, baby. I got it. Oh, well, maybe I don't know. There, okay, there we go. Now I got a whole little heart. But I love you more, big sis. I promise you. And thank you so much for the conversation. Thank you for always being my ear. Thank you for always being my shoulder. Thank you for getting me together when I be falling, when I be slipping. I appreciate it. I promise you. And thank you for the beautiful and continuous support. Um, I love the way you pour into me. I love the way you encourage me. I love that even when you see that I'm falling, you come and you pick me back up and you put me back on my feet. So I appreciate you for that. I love you for that. I'm grateful. All right. So enough of the mushy talk. Let's get into tonight's topic. Like I said, tonight's show is not going to be very long. Just wanted to bring y'all the updates with regards to Tyre Nichols. Again, Tyre Nichols was the 29. Was he 29? Oh, y'all, hold up. Don't even give me look. Yeah, 29. Who was beaten for a period of 3 to 5 minutes by 5 Black Memphis police officers back in January of 2023. Um, there has been some updates with regards to this case. First and foremost, I want to start off with there have been federal charges. Federal charges have been filed in violation of Tyre Nichols' constitutional rights. So federal charges have been brought amongst the 5 Black Memphis police officers that um, have been indicted on let me get the charges pulled back up. Give me just one moment. Y'all know normally. So they have been charged with second-degree murder. They have been charged with aggravated assault. They have been charged with aggravated kidnapping while possessing a weapon. And then they've been charged with aggravated kidnapping causing bodily injury. Again, federal charges have now been filed against these 5 police officers for the violation of Tyre Nichols' constitutional rights, which I feel is rightly so because they did violate him. Um, I'm not showing any footage of the beating the night in January, because that's just it's triggering and it's just a little bit too much. Anyone that wants to see it, you're more than welcome. You could Google Tyre Nichols on YouTube and you could pull up I believe the videos were in total like 35 minutes, but they were broken down into several parts. Um, but I do feel like it is rightfully so that they did violate again his constitutional rights, because he was pulled over for allegedly reckless driving. They said he was intoxicated. They say he was high. It was just all types of things that he was acting very erratic. But for those that have seen the footage, we did see the reaction of Tyre Nichols. I mean, how would you feel if you were at a stoplight and 4 police cars boxed you in? Unmarked vehicles at that. They were part of the Scorpion unit, which was put together by the chief of police in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, and of course, for those that are familiar with CJ, she was actually responsible for the death of a 92-year-old woman in Atlanta back in the early 2000s. She was over the task unit. I can't remember the name. The Red Dogs. I'm so sorry, the Red Dogs. That's what it is, the Red Dogs. But again, federal charges have now been filed against these 5 Black Memphis police officers in Memphis. So absolutely waiting to see the outcome. I believe the trial is pending to start in November. Um, but there has also been some motions that have been filed. There has been a motion to sever, which means one of the police officers that has been indicted um, feels like he should get a separate trial from the other 4 police officers. I do have some information for you, and let's step off up into it. Here we go.
Today, the Justice Department informed the family of Tyre Nichols that we have charged 5 former Memphis police detectives with federal crimes in connection with the death of Mr. Nichols. United States Attorney Kevin Ritz and Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Kristen Clark will detail those charges shortly. On January 7th of this year, Tyre Nichols was just minutes away from home when he was pulled over by law enforcement officers sworn to protect him. As the indictment charges, the defendants in this case, who at the time were serving as detectives with the Memphis Police Department, brutally beat Mr. Nichols. They then failed to render medical aid to Mr. Nichols and further failed to tell emergency responders that they had struck him repeatedly, even as his condition deteriorated and he became unresponsive. We also allege that while Mr. Nichols lay dying in a hospital, the defendants conspired to cover up their crimes, including by falsely stating that Mr. Nichols had actively resisted arrest. Weeks after Mr. Nichols' death, the Memphis Police Department released body camera footage of the incident. The country watched in horror as Mr. Nichols was kicked, punched, tased, and pepper sprayed. We all heard Mr. Nichols cry out for his mother and say, quote, "I'm just trying to go home." We allege that the defendants charged today willfully deprived Tyre Nichols of his constitutional rights and that their actions resulted in his death. Tyre Nichols should be alive today. I want to express my deep condolences to Mr. Nichols' loved ones as they continue to grieve the loss of their beloved son, father, brother, grandson, and friend. Officers who violate the civil rights of those they are sworn to protect undermine public safety, which depends on the community's trust in law enforcement. They dishonor their fellow officers who do their work with integrity every day. The Justice Department will continue to hold accountable officers who betray their oath.
And you can absolutely tell he's reading from a teleprompter, but we just gonna carry on with the conversation. But again, yes, the federal charges have been filed against the 5 Black Memphis police officers who have been charged with the murder, the brutal beating, and the murder of Tyre Nichols. I do still continue to pray for the family. I pray that justice is served. I know that no time that will be implemented to these officers, because I really feel deeply they will be convicted. But I do know for a fact there will never be enough time to constitute or equate to bring their loved one back. It will not justify the pain or shield the pain, but we will just have to sit back and we will have to wait with regards to that. But again, as I stated before, there was a motion that was filed um, by Justin Smith, Tadaris Bean, and I cannot remember the other police officer that filed a motion to sever. Which, in other words, in English terms, layman terms, they want to be tried separately. They feel that trying the 5 police officers together, they will not get a fair trial. Let me say this. You did the crime together. Y'all need to be tried together. My honest, open opinion, and I'm not really familiar with the laws in Memphis, but I do feel like if they are all tried together, you get a better chance of getting a conviction versus them being tried separately. I did just receive a update. Give me just one moment. Let me get back over here. This was an hour ago. This was just sent to me. So y'all forgive me. Waiting on it to pop back up. I had to jump off into my internet, back into my email. I'm so sorry. Because I do communicate with people that are really closely following the trial, people that actually live in Memphis, that actually have access to the documents that they have been sending to me with regards to this case. Um, I do see on Monday that a judge did deny the request from 3 former Memphis police officers to have several separate trials in the death of Tyre Nichols. So that is a good victory for the family. It says the attorneys representing Tadaris Bean, Desmond Mills, and Justin Smith had filed motions asking for their cases to be severed from those of Demetrius Haley and Emmett Martin on the grounds that their clients wouldn't get a fair trial if they all had to face a jury together over the January 7th beating of Nichols. The judge who is overseeing this case, James Jones Jr., issued an order saying that severing the cases isn't necessary to protect the defendant's rights to a fair determination of their innocence or guilt. And then it goes on to say Nichols, 29, died 3 days after he was beaten by officers with the incident captured on police video. So that is one victory for the Nichols family, and I definitely agree with the judge who says trying you together, trying you separately it's I believe the verdict will still come out the same. Um, Let me go back. It's some more information. Y'all just give me one moment. Because unfortunately, I cannot show y'all this documentation for legal purposes and to protect the innocence. Um, of the officers and the other people that are involved in the case. Um, Let me go back. Give me 1 second, because it's a lot of information. So y'all forgive me for this. Um, but yes, but again, that the again says severing the cases is not required to protect their rights to a fair determination of their guilt or innocence. Again, all 5 former members of the Memphis Police Department Crime Suppression Unit have all pleaded not guilty to state charges, including second-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping in the beating of Nichols, who was punched, kicked, and slugged with a police baton as he fled a traffic stop during which he was hit with a stun gun and pepper spray. So, again, I absolutely agree with the judge. Um, Again, whether you're tried separately, whether you're tried all together, I really feel like the verdict is still gonna be the same way. I do, um, in my whole honest heart opinion, they will be found guilty. They will be convicted. They will be sentenced. Um, how much time do we know? No. But I just wanna know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you feel like these officers should be tried separately, or do you feel like it should all just still be together? Y'all did the crime together. Y'all brutally beat this man over a traffic stop, over I'm so sorry, reckless driving, quote unquote reckless driving. But the sad part about this is you sat there and you laughed. You took pictures and you sent them out to people. Then you failed to render aid to this man. You denied him medical attention as this man lied there bleeding to death, brain swollen, because I went back and I read the autopsy report. This young man had, give me one moment, let me go right back. Per the autopsy, let me go back because I had it pulled up, but it made me so sick to my stomach that I immediately had to close it out. So the autopsy, he had blunt force injuries to the head, swelling and bruises on his brain, as well as liver and kidney damage. That was the autopsy report. You beat this man for 3 to 5 minutes. For what? And for those that watched the video, to hear this young man calling out for his mother, because this happened feet away from his front door. And it wasn't just a beating that made me sick. It was how they handled it afterwards. You came and you knocked on this mother's door and asked, "Do you have a son named Tyre Nichols?" Mother said, "Yes. Yes, I do." Uh, he's on his way to the hospital. He was intoxicated, he was acting erratic, and after we leave the hospital, he's going to jail. So as you know, I watched the interview with the mother, and the mother says, "That wasn't like my son." And why, well, can I go see him at the hospital? They said no, because he's in custody. He's been reprimanded. This is what they tell the mother. So soon after, the mother receives a call from the hospital, from the doctors. One of the doctors that said, "You need to get here to this hospital now. You need to get to this hospital now. Your son has been brutally beaten." So as a mother of a black boy, listening to this mother talk and share and what happened, my heart immediately dropped to the bottom of my stomach because I said, "My son drives at night. He has to go to work. He has to come home. What can I do to prevent this? I know I can't protect my son from the world, but I could do whatever it is I need to do to keep him protected." And it just took me back to when Trayvon Martin was killed. It took me back to when Sean Bell was killed, when Oscar Grant was killed, because I have a black son. And then I think about my 2 black daughters. I have a Sandra Bland. I have a Tatiana Jefferson. I have a Breonna Taylor. Everyone has had a Katherine Johnston in their family. That was a 92-year-old woman that was killed in Atlanta. And I think what can I do it as better as a mother? What can I do better as a parent? What can I do better as a person to keep my children protected? And I pray every night when my son has to leave to go to work, and I pray every time my son comes home. Every night that I talk to my son, I say, "Call and let me know you made it to your destination safe. Call and let me know you made it home okay." And the saddest part about all this is I have to sit down and I have to have these conversations with my son and my daughters. Well, not the baby girl, because the baby girl doesn't go anywhere, but my 2 oldest, my oldest son and my oldest daughter. I have to sit down and I have to have this conversation with them. "Please do this. Please don't do that. Please, if they tell you, just please do what they just I beg." Because you hear these mothers that talk about the loss of their children due to police brutality. You feel weak, you feel helpless. What can we do? But I pray and I ask God every day, just keep my children covered. Just please allow my children to come home safe to me every day. I pray for the people that are not relatives. I pray for every black man. I pray for every black woman. I pray for you every time you leave your home, that you make it back to your family safe. But this Tyre Nichols case, just I don't know what it is about this case, but it just really truly has me in a chokehold. And I think I don't know if it's because this was 5 black police officers that did this to another black man, or the fact that they brutalized this man for 3 to 5 minutes and then you denied medical attention to him, I believe, for 17 minutes. And it's just happened feet away from his home. And on the video, you hear him calling his mom, "Mom, mom, mom." You know, what do you do? How do we handle this? Again, Tyre Nichols, 29 years old, a father, a brother, a son, taken away from us so brutally in the most tragic way you could ever imagine over a traffic stop. And then I've had conversations with people with regards to this case, and I've heard people say, "Well, he should have just complied." Philando Castile complied and still lost his life. So it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Stop telling us to comply. Tell the police officers to stop brutalizing our black men and our black women. Because if you don't comply, you die. If you comply, you still die. I don't like how how they portray the victims as, oh, they were villains. No. Tyre Nichols was on his way home. I could understand the fear. I could understand why he was afraid. Look at all these police brutality cases that we encounter every day. We see this every day. There's another one that just happened last week that I'm going to be addressing next week. So we fear. We're afraid every time we get pulled over by the police because we don't know. Are we going home or are we leaving in a body bag? Because we're seeing this far too often. Sean Bell, Oscar Grant, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling. The list goes on and on and on and on. When is this going to end? When are we going to start holding these police officers accountable for their actions? Yes, we saw it in the trial of George Floyd. But unfortunately, we didn't get the same justice for Dante Wright. We see this over and over and over and over again. It's very disheartening. It's very troubling. It's very disturbing that we have to sit and have these conversations with our children on how to conduct themselves if you ever get pulled over by the police. I remember you used to get pulled over, you got a ticket, and you went on about your way. Now it's, am I going to die or am I going to be able to go home? Are they going to beat me? Are they going to take me to jail? What's going to happen? This is definitely post-traumatic stress syndrome for black men and black women every time a police officer gets behind you because we don't know. We don't know the outcome because we've seen the outcome of these other cases. A lot of them don't make it home. And again, we only make up 14% of the population. We only make up 14% of the population. So if that is in the top 5 leading causes of death for black men and black women, we're at the bottom of the totem pole. I get it. We're tired of hearing about it. I know y'all are tired of talking about it, but guess what? If I don't keep talking about it, it's just going to get swept under the rug. One of my friends on my Facebook friends list lost his stepson to the Memphis Police Department. And they still have got no answers. None. But in this case of Tyre Nichols, I pray justice is served for this family. I pray that not only are they indicted criminally, but federally. You need to go serve some time because what the conduct of those 5 police officers that night of January 7th should never have happened. It never should have happened. Absolutely should not have happened. Tyre Nichols should still be here with us today. Tyre Nichols should still be here with his son. He still should be with his family, his mother, his father, his sister. So what happened on the night of January 7th of 2023 never should have occurred. To these police officers, there's going to be a high place in hell waiting for you when you get there. I pray that every weapon formed against you prospers. Because again, what happened January 7th to Tyre Nichols never should have occurred. It never should have happened. With regards to the federal case, here's a little more information. Again, I'm going to keep you guys updated and in the loop. Oh, I have a comment. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, boo, I love you. Thank you for tuning in and supporting me. I finally got my fingers together, y'all. I got my little heart together. I love y'all. But here we go. Here's some more information with regards to the federal charges against the 5 police officers indicted in the murder of Tyre Nichols.
5 former Memphis police officers involved in the beating death of Tyre Nichols are now facing federal charges for violating his civil rights. Nichols died 3 days after he was beaten by police during a January traffic stop. Earlier this year, the officers all pleaded not guilty to state charges of second-degree murder. For more on this, I'm joined by CBS News Chief National Affairs and Justice Correspondent Jeff Pegues. Jeff, good to see you. Tell us about these charges in this indictment.
Well, this, Vlad, adds to the federal charges or the state charges that have already been leveled against these 5 officers. This is a federal case, 4 counts, and the counts include obstruction, essentially contributing to a police report that did not tell an accurate story of what happened that day last January, and then also using excessive force and other counts on top of that. With all these counts, these 5 former officers could be sent to prison for decades. So these are, of course, serious charges. They're civil rights charges from the Department of Justice. And what we've seen over time with the Department of Justice under AG Garland is that these are the kinds of charges that they bring against police officers who are accused of or alleged to have committed acts that are excessive force. And so this is another tool that the Department of Justice has been using to root out allegedly bad cops.
So then what happens next? What's the timeline going to look like for a case like this?
It's a whole bunch of court dates which will come. And then, of course, they have the court dates and the state charges that they face. So this is going to drag out. But what is also important to mention is that these 5 officers were part of what was called the Scorpion Unit. This was a unit that was created to help bring down crime in Memphis. Memphis has had a problem over the last several years with rising crime. But what prosecutors are alleging here is that these officers went too far. They used excessive force, and then they tried to conspire to cover up what they had allegedly done, according to prosecutors. So there are going to be a lot of court cases for these 5 officers going forward. As you mentioned, in the state charges, they pleaded not guilty. In this federal case, they are claiming their innocence, and now they're going to have to go to court to prove it.
So, Jeff, just for our viewers to understand clearly, how different is the state charge how different is it from the state charges that the officers already face?
These are civil rights violations, according to the Department of Justice, which will result, if there's a conviction, in tougher penalties, longer prison sentences. And so this is a tool, as I mentioned, the Department of Justice has, according to some of the statistics we've seen, used about 100 times. They've had 85 convictions, so they have a pretty good record in proving their cases. And they feel like they have a pretty good case in this one because of that disturbing video where you see the 5 officers pounding, kicking, Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old man who, according to initial reports, was fighting back, but then that video came out, and you can clearly see in the video that he's not fighting back, that he's being pummeled by these officers. And so federal investigators believe they have a strong case. We'll see where it goes.
We will, Jeff. Thank you very much.
The family has also filed a $500 million lawsuit against the city of Memphis. I know a motion has been filed. City of Memphis wants to be removed from the lawsuit. And the lawsuit has been filed on behalf of the family of Tyre Nichols as well as the estate of Tyre Nichols. So uh we'll see how that motion turns out. Again, City of Memphis has filed a motion to be removed from this lawsuit that the family has filed with regards to the murder of Tyre Nichols, with the beating death of Tyre Nichols. So um, I'm praying, that the family gets their the due diligence is done. I am definitely praying that justice is given to the family of Tyre Nichols, especially his son. You have a little boy who will now grow up without his father, you know, who will have to endure watching the video over and over of his father being brutally beaten at the hands of five black police officers. So definitely stay in constant prayer for the family, for the friends, extended family of Tyre Nichols, because again, this never should have happened. Tyre Nichols again should be here with us right now. Um, Again, as when all of this first transpired, and I was sent a video prior to it even being released to the public, I was very sickened to see and hear the way that they laughed and joked about beating this young man. But I also feel like the white officer that was there, even though he may not have been there for the initial beating, you incited. So I don't understand why charges were not brought against him. Because if you go back again, y'all, I'm not showing the video. I'm not putting that out there because it's very triggering. But you hear him say, and I'm trying to quote it verbatim. In other words, I hope you catch him and I hope y'all beat his ass. Basically is what he said. And they did just that. And then the way Tyre was handled after the fact that pictures were taken, pictures were sent to members that didn't even work for Memphis police. It was a couple of people that did work for the police department that these pictures were sent to, but you ridiculed and you joked and you laughed as you sat and watched this young man's life viciously fade away at a beating that you caused. And then for you guys to go in there and feel like you did nothing wrong. And then the attorneys that were fighting with regards for this motion to sever. In other words, to try these officers individually. I'm glad the judge denied that request. Because regardless if you're tried separately or together, you still participated in the brutal beating and the eventual death of Tyre Nichols. You still you were complicit. So I don't care if you're tried separate. I don't care if you're tried together. Justice needs to be served. You need to be convicted. Period. Period, 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 point blank. So shout out to Judge Jones for denying that request of those 3 police officers that had filed a motion to sever. Again, y'all, welcome to another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all already know it's still your girl Ash, your favorite girl from the 504. But I just hmm, it never gets easier when I do these shows. It never does. Um, when it comes to bringing you these updates, um, it's never easy. Like I said, as many of these stories and cases that I cover, that I bring to y'all week in and week out, it never gets easy for me. But again, this particular case, Tyre Nichols, this it really truly has me in a chokehold because again, I don't know if it was how it was handled after the fact or if it was the fact that it was 5 black police officers that brutalized this young man for no reason. You had him pulled over. If he You coulda got his license plate. You coulda something, but y'all brutalized this man for 3 to 5 minutes. You beat him with a baton. You kicked him in the face. You pepper sprayed him. You stomped on him like he was a dog in the street, like he was just a piece of trash. And then you carried on like nothing. You went on about your day like nothing. Then you joked about it. You laughed about it. You denied aid to this young man. And then the EMTs that arrived on the scene, y'all laughed and y'all were talking about the Super Bowl. Really? And you have a young man that's laying here dying. And y'all wanna sit and laugh and joke like it's Super Bowl Sunday. And y'all were talking about the game. I really feel like the only way that this is gonna stop, we have to start holding these police officers accountable. I get it. They wanna protect the police, but what about us? What about the citizens? Y'all are giving an oath to protect and serve us. A lot of y'all are not doing that. And again, I'm not saying that there's not good police officers out there because I know there are. But the ones that stand by and say nothing, you're just as bad as the ones that actually that are actually complicit in the crimes. So again, for Tyre Nichols, y'all keep praying for that family. Let's pray that justice is served. Let's pray that each and every last police officer that winds up in the same situation, let's pray that justice is served. I get it, y'all. I understand. There's not enough time in the world to compensate for the loss. I know, but I want the justice. You may can't bring my loved one back, but I need justice for my loved one so my loved one can finally rest. And the beautiful things that Tyre Nichols' family has done, the way they keep rallying and advocating and fighting for justice, I applaud them. I know it's difficult. Again, watching the interview with the mother and the mother saying they had to move out of that house because that was too much of a reminder. Because again, y'all have to understand this happened, what, 700 feet away from the front door? So right there at the corner. And to be having to pass by that every day, I absolutely understand. That is a reminder. That is a trigger. So I get it why the mom and the dad moved away. But I continue to pray for you. I continue to uplift you. I continue to encourage you and know justice will prevail. Tyre Nichols did not die in vain. He didn't. So Jules says, it took me weeks to actually watch that video. That hurt my soul watching those cowards murder that young man. My heart aches to watch his mom and dad and family deal with the loss of a loved one. When I tell you, sis, looking at the interviews, speaking with people that are closely affiliated with this case, they say the mother is the strongest person they've ever seen because the mother is standing up for what's right. They said, because the family did actually get to go to court when the police officers were indicted, and they said they saw the tremble and the shaking of the mother as she watched these 5 police officers that brutalized her son walk into that courtroom with face masks on. Now, baby, take that mask off because you didn't have a mask on that night when you brutalized her son. So I commend the mother because it just it as a mother, even as a parent, period, it takes a lot of strength, a lot of courage, and a lot of restraint to have to deal with something like this. I totally get it. I absolutely understand because I worry about that for my son every day. Every day. The more stories that come across that I see, I immediately go to my son. I'm like, oh my God, I got to protect him. Something. I just don't want this to happen to my baby. So we have to keep the mother encouraged, the family encouraged, the sister, everybody. We have to stand in solidarity for this family because this could be you. I could be up here telling your story. I could be up here advocating and trying and continuing to keep your story alive. I know it. I know it, Mom. I know it's hard. And to hear her speak so beautifully and eloquently about her son, I think is what makes it hurt even more. Is because he's not here. Because she did say he used to always tell her he wanted to be famous. But the mother said she never imagined it would be like this. Imagine that as a mother. And your child telling you, oh, I'm going to be famous. But this is how it turns out. So with the federal trial, there has been a trial date has been announced. Here we go. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap up the rest of the show.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom along with Pepper Baker tonight. New this hour, we now know the federal trial date for 5 ex-Memphis cops charged in the death of Tyre Nichols.
Today, a federal judge put May 6th on the trial calendar for Justin Smith, Emmett Martin, Desmond Mills, Demetrius Haley, and Tadarius Bean. They each face 4 federal charges, none of which are related to the state's case against them. Our Stephen Reels is here with the major takeaways from today's proceedings. Stephen.
Thanks so much, Pepper. 2 big things were coming away today. The federal charges coming down very quickly, less than a week from the federal indictments that were handed down earlier against the former MPD officers. Also, if they are convicted, the death penalty is now off the table, but the former officers could still face a life in prison. All 5 of the former officers pleaded not guilty to the federal charges. They are all out on bond under certain conditions. While a judge ordered that the 5 cannot talk to each other before trial, their lawyers are in talks with the government to allow the former officers to sit next to each other in court. Here's William Macy, who is representing Emmett Martin, responding to the spring 2024 federal trial date.
We have begun the process and we'll work toward May for a trial date. I would like to see everyone be able to talk with each other. But the lawyers can talk with each other, so I guess that's the way it will just have to be done.
And Richard and Pepper, here's what's coming up next. Both sides have until November 6th to complete their discovery process. Then they will meet twice for report dates on November 14th and then on April 4th next year. And if all goes well, the trial will begin on May 6th, like we said earlier, and last for 8 to 9 days. The 5 former MPD officers also face state charges, including second-degree murder. A trial date hasn't been set on either of those charges.
So again, that is the update with regards to the federal charges that have been brought down against those police officers. Again, I will definitely keep y'all updated because I am closely following this story. I am closely staying in connection with my people that are highly, 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 highly attached to this to this case. Again, you guys did see the timeline. So May 4th of 2024 is when the federal trial will start. Again, as you guys did hear, the death penalty has been pulled off the table, but they do still can still face life in prison. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And I want to know your thoughts. Um, are you for the death penalty or do you feel like they should get life? I am gonna say I want them to have life in prison. I think death is too easy. When it comes to life in prison, this is gonna sit on you and this is gonna weigh on you. Once those prison doors close, reality sets in. Whatever type of justice is served, you deserve. You absolutely deserve. I would love to see them all go to prison for the rest of their lives. I would. I really absolutely would. Again, there's no time in the world to bring that could possibly bring Tyre Nichols back, but I want justice for this family. I also want justice for the countless other families that have had to experience that have experienced and have had to endure the death of their loved ones at the hands of someone that was sworn to protect and serve. So I do hope they get life in prison because that's going to haunt them. That's going to wreck their conscience so much. That's going to give you time to really think about what you did and how that split second decision you made has ruined your life and has shattered the families of Tyre Nichols. I'm so sorry, the loved ones of Tyre Nichols. So I pray you get life in prison. I pray that this haunts you for the rest of your life. I pray that every night when you close your eyes, you see Tyre Nichols' face. I pray that you hear his voice every night because I want you to understand what you've done. You have destroyed 6 families. Tyre Nichols' family and your own families at that split second decision that you made to brutally beat this young man for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you failed to render aid to him. And then the aftermath. You're taking pictures, you're laughing, you're joking, you're just having a grand little old time while this young man lays here bleeding. Watching that video, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I could not get past when they hit him in the face with the baton and when the guy went and changed shoes and you kicked this young man in the face. And then the fact that you turned around and you took pictures and then you sent them out. Highly disrespectful. So to the family of Tyre Nichols, from my family to yours, we love you. We are still praying for you and we stand in solidarity with you and pray that justice will be served. And just know that his death was not in vain. And that is all I have for you tonight with regards to the update of the Tyre Nichols case. Once I do get the information with regards to the state case, which is the actual indictment, which is the murder trial, I will definitely bring y'all the updates. Definitely keep y'all posted. We're going to go live. We're going to follow this story. We're going to keep this covered because we cannot let Tyre Nichols' death be in vain. We have to support the family, support the countless other families that, again, have had to experience or endure the loss of a loved one at the hands of a police officer. So, as I bring this episode to a close, baby, y'all know I got to give y'all the tea on what's coming up next week. So, again, y'all know Black Girl Interrupted goes live every Tuesday and every Wednesday night. Well, Tuesday night, I am going to be bringing you guys the case of Stephen Clay Perkins, who was a 39-year-old unarmed Black man that was gunned down by the police in Decatur, Alabama. Another one. In my DJ Khaled voice, another one. I'm not gonna dive too deep into that, but Stephen Clay Perkins. Then also next week, we're gonna be talking about sex trafficking. And what we can do to curtail this. We have to protect our children because we're seeing this happen far too often. But oh, I got to take a deep breath on that one because again, every time I bring stories like this, it really does something to me. But if I don't bring the stories, who else will? Because again, this could be your loved one that I'm sitting in and I'm telling the story about. But I also want y'all to know I do this to help bring our community together, to help heal our community because we need it. So we have to have these real live, in-depth, uncomfortable conversations because this is what's happening out here in the world. If I don't bring it to the forefront, who else does? These types of stories and cases get swept under the rug every day, and we don't know about it. We don't hear about it. Why? I know y'all are tired of hearing about it, but I'm tired of speaking about it. But again, we as a community, we have to collectively come together. We have to start policing our neighborhoods. We have to take the streets back. We have to protect our children. We have to protect our loved ones. We have to do our part as a community. But we also need them to start holding these police officers accountable for these crimes that they do because these police officers are doing this and there's no repercussions. These people are losing their lives and no one's held accountable. I really feel like the only reason Derek Chauvin was held accountable is because Minnesota was under scrutiny. They were ready to burn that city down. And we see this time and time and time again. There's videos, there's surveillance. You got the footage. You see this. But they get a slap on the wrist. No charges are going to be filed. Dismissed without prejudice or dismissed with prejudice. We see this all the time. So I feel like the only way this is going to stop, you have to start holding these police officers accountable. We have to. I feel like restitution to these parents, families, I'm so sorry, the families of the loved ones should come from the police officer's pension. That's just my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that may disagree with what I'm saying, but I really feel like that's where it should come from. I feel like you should lose your pension. I don't care if you put in 30 years on the force. That split second decision made your 30 years go right down the drain. That's my honest and humble opinion. But again, I'm just here to report the news. I'm just here to bring y'all beautiful, intelligent conversations that may get a little uncomfortable at times. That's all I'm here to do. But I'm also here to love and encourage and empower you along the way. So, on that note, Black Girl Interrupted is coming to a close, baby. I told y'all this was going to be short. Not nothing too big, not nothing too small. But again, I definitely want to tell y'all thank y'all so much for tuning in with me every week, coming and showing me buku love. I appreciate it. This is what keeps me going. This is why I do what I do, baby. I do it for y'all. I don't do it just for me, but I do it for y'all too. And I appreciate the love. I appreciate the way y'all come and support. I appreciate the way you guys come and interact in the conversations. I love to hear your opinions. I love to hear your thoughts, whether we agree, whether we disagree. I love it. And I love the fact that we all stay respectful. Because y'all know, baby, disrespect is never tolerated on my show. Y'all know that. But again, catch Black Girl Interrupted next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. I stream live on Facebook as well as YouTube. You can always catch any of the past episodes on anywhere that you stream your podcast, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, whether it's Spotify, baby, whether it's Amazon Music, iHeart, baby. That's where Black Girl Interrupted podcast is. That's where I'm at all times. Um, Again, before I close, I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna even tell y'all. I'm gonna wait till it goes through and then I'll give y'all the good news. But just know I'm excited about what's coming for Black Girl Interrupted podcast. So on that note, I love you guys. Again, happy Wednesday. I hope each and every person has a beautiful day tomorrow. I hope you guys have a beautiful and safe weekend. And I'm going to see y'all again next Tuesday. Same time, same place. All right? I love y'all. Have a good night. And again, be blessed. Set boundaries. Drink your water. Wash your hands. Wash your ass, baby. Because guess what? COVID is back on the rise. Love y'all. Have a good night.